Hi, you're listening to This Is Not Your Practice Life. I'm your host, Macy Renee, and we are going on a journey together, my friends. I'm a certified life and emotional intelligence coach. And if you really want to step into your highest self, there are a few non-negotiables you're going to have to learn, and I am just the person to help you do it. No matter your past, I'm here to help you create a more fulfilling future. So stick around with me. Not only will I teach you how to navigate your brain's daily mind drama, but I'll help you actually understand your mind, your emotions, why you do the things you do, and why others do the things they do. Most importantly, I'll help you build the self-awareness skills to create whatever results you want. It's never too late to change the trajectory of your life. After all, this is not your practice life. Hello, ladies and gents. Welcome back to another episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. I'm so excited to have you joining me today. It is Thanksgiving week, and I hope you have some fun plans or relaxing plans and that your holiday is, everything that you want it to be and more. But if it's not, you know where to find me in case you need coaching on it, because we know that sometimes family and friend dynamics can be a little tricky. So again, if you need, you can book a consult if you feel like whatever happens this holiday season is too much. All right, you guys, I wanted to drop this third episode for you this week. We're kind of in a bonus week. I tend to release episodes once a week, every week, but I got behind, and I don't think that that's fair to my audience. So I decided that this week I was going to make it up to you guys, and I was going to release an episode on Monday and on Tuesday and on Wednesday. And so this is the third episode this week that you're getting, and we're going to be talking about how to romanticize your life, what that means, why it sometimes feels difficult, what it is, what it isn't. We're going to talk all the things because I've been doing this in recent years and I think it makes all the difference. So I definitely want to talk to you about it. Just before we get in, I know, announcements, you can fast forward if you've already heard these, but just in case there's someone out in the world who this is the very first episode that they listen to, they don't want to miss these announcements. So just know that this week, it's Thanksgiving week, and at the end of day, November 29th, my Black Friday specials that I'm currently running will be over. So there are two things you need to know about. One, the women's coaching retreat that I'm hosting next year in 2026. It is the only retreat that I will be hosting, and you are welcome to come to it. This week, if you buy it before the 29th, you get 25% off. And if you've been eyeing one or both of the mini coaching programs, you can opt into those at no additional cost. It will be included in the price that you pay for Miami, in addition to 25% off of Miami. So if you've been wanting to get into that Miami retreat, now is the week to do it for sure, just so you can save some extra money. Treat yourself to a wonderful experience in 2026. The second thing that is on a Black Friday special is private one-on-one coaching. This is a game changer. You can learn more about it on my website. I won't go into it, but it is $500 off, and you can also choose to opt into one or both of the mini programs. And again, these mini programs, you guys, even if you don't buy them during the Black Friday sale stuff that's going on, like you don't buy them with anything else, just the mini programs alone are game changers for your life. If you never do anything else, these are core skills and foundations that will serve you so well. Elevated EQ helps you build your self-concept. That's who you want to be, what you want out of your life. Okay, that's a very important thing for you to nail down. And then the threshold is also a very important program because that's where you take action. That's where you learn self-trust and follow through on the things you need to be doing to actually become your self-concept. So you can buy one or both minis. If you buy them both, like if you've never taken either and you buy them both at the same time, you get them for $797 currently. Okay, that saves you about $300 versus if you buy them one at a time. And here's what I will tell you just really quickly. I know I'm talking quickly because I don't want it to be a whole long announcement, but the mini programs are basically going to run one more time before my big advanced program comes. Now, you may not be interested in the advanced program, and that's fine. I will tell you that just the mini programs alone are a wonderful thing to get into, but just in case you decide later that you want to enroll in this big program that I will be announcing December 16th, you will have wanted to make sure that you're already enrolled in the mini programs, because doing the mini programs is what qualifies you for the next level room. It's where we're going to take both of those mini programs and we're going to go way deeper, way further. And I have some very big surprises and announcements. So just make sure that you're setting yourself up for success in that way. Okay. If you're listening to this and you haven't taken one of the minis, or you haven't taken both of them, and you're even just a hair interested in what I will be announcing later in December, you want to make sure that you've already enrolled in the minis. The last day to do that is December 12th. But the last day to get it, if you want to bundle it with the Miami retreat or with one-on-one coaching for the Black Friday sale, is this week, November 29th. Okay? Okay, let's talk about romanticizing our life. So I think when people hear romanticize your life, a lot of times they're thinking aesthetically, like how things look, almost like the perfect morning or very curated. But that's not how I think of romanticizing your life. I think about it as choosing to see your life through a lens that honors your different desires, your inner world, how you want to experience things. It's intentionally elevating your everyday life, the things that can feel monotonous, the things that can feel so mundane and so simple and so, just not special. Like you make things special. It's the intentionality behind it, and it's really like slowing down to experience yourself in the present moment, as opposed to living on autopilot, which is so easy for us to do because a lot of times we're juggling so much. And this is men and women, and men can romanticize their life as well, right? But definitely for women, I think it's really easy to get on autopilot. And so romanticizing your life is about reconnecting to things that already exist in your everyday. It's not creating a fantasy or creating something that is not sustainable. It's learning how to take what you already have in everyday life experiences and really slow down to appreciate the beauty of it and the gratitude of it. And I think the reason that so many women really don't know how to romanticize their life is truly because so many people are busy surviving, right? Even there's times for me as a business owner where life is really, really tough and I feel like I'm surviving. Okay, so, I haven't even thrown in children to the mix, so I can only imagine the mother, the wife. You're taking care of kids, there's homework, there's routines, there's animals, there's the job, there's everything. Even if you're a stay-at-home mom, right? That's a big job as well. So many women, and maybe men too, right, feel like in many ways they're surviving and that they don't have time. And if that is a story in your head and it feels really true, it's going to be hard to romanticize your life. But that's why I want to talk about this, because I want you to be able to slow yourself down in the busy and learn how to romanticize what's already in front of you, not feel like you have to curate the perfect little space, or like you have to have all these perfect things, or it has to all be aesthetically pleasing like a Pinterest board, okay? I want to teach you how to do this in real life. Another reason, though, that I think that this is really hard for people is because our brains are so good at normalizing what feels familiar. So, the everyday things don't feel special because you do them all the time, and we're not being intentional and aware of how to show up for ourselves in kind of like this romanticizing way. But I'm going to teach you how to do that. And I also think that humans tend to prioritize responsibility, like all the responsibilities we're carrying, over any sort of pleasure or the simple joys of life. So the brain is really good at thinking something like romanticizing your life is like delusional or pretending that things are perfect. And that's not at all what this is. It's also not, thinking that joy has to be earned, as opposed to just something that you can experience no matter where you're at in your life right now, even if life is like literally just drowning you in some way, okay? Because we all get there. And I think part of getting out is having the skill of knowing how to romanticize our life. And me, I'm an emotional intelligence coach, so naturally, I want to share just the different ways that romanticizing your life is kind of a skill of emotional intelligence, like being able to use your EQ skills to do this process. And the first way that emotional intelligence is almost required for this is that, romanticizing your life is very nervous system based. Like you have to be able to create these micro moments of self regulation and presence. And it's also self concept based. Speaking of, my elevated EQ program, but self concept, it's like seeing yourself as someone that's worthy of a beautiful life, even before you have the external things that you really want, or even before you've made the changes or become the version that you desire to be. And also, in ways that you use your EQ skills, is that romanticizing your life requires and builds this level of emotional resilience, because being able to look at your life through this lens gives it more meaning, and it cultivates gratitude without bypassing the reality of what you're actually living. But, really helps to navigate a lot of those struggles where we can get caught in the negativity or the, yuck of everyday life. So, what romanticizing your life is not is any sort of ignoring your problems or pretending that everything is perfect or forcing positivity. You don't want romanticizing your life to be a distraction from what's really going on or be performative. What you want romanticizing your life to be is something that's very internal. So I just wanted to share some actual examples of what this may look like, and share some rituals that I have as well, that make me feel really good in romanticizing my life. So one of the things is drinking your coffee, your morning coffee, and slowing down. Again, you're going to have to remember that this is going to require intentionality. So many people are probably going to listen to this and I'm sure your brain is going to say, when is there the time? Do you know how chaotic my life is? In the mornings, I'm rushing to get kids ready or out the door. I'm rushing to get myself ready. I'm packing lunches. I'm making sure, my husband's good or my partner's good or whatever. Like, yes, there's going to be some real life humanness in this. What I'm asking you to do is just one, receive the information and learn how you can do this in the chaos of life. That is what romanticizing your life is. So this first one is like drinking your coffee or your matcha or your tea or whatever in the morning like it's a ritual instead of a task. So many people just chug down that coffee, right? Like they're actually in survival. And I just want to offer that that doesn't really help serve calming your nervous system, okay? It also doesn't help you slow down enough to appreciate even the joy that you are privileged that you even woke up in the morning to experience the chaos of life. Sometimes we get so wrapped up and overstimulated in the everyday of how chaotic things are. I think we really forget the simple pleasures of life, and that's really what romanticizing your life is all about. So when you're going to make your coffee or sit down to drink your coffee, even if it's for 2 minutes, do your best to take a deep breath and recognize, like it could be recognizing the steam that is coming off of your coffee if you actually get to have it hot, right? Or if you enjoy an iced coffee, like really just slowing down and being in the moment, like watch maybe your brain have a few thoughts, like gratitude that you just have a moment maybe to yourself, just make it some sort of ritual where it's like, it's for you. It's something for you. Another thing, being able to, like, if you go on a walk with your kids or your dog, or just a walk by yourself, or you walk to work, or you're walking down the street, on a lunch break or whatever, like, take a minute to just notice your surroundings, notice the sun, and feel the warmth on your face. Like, notice the shadows, notice the different textures, like, notice if you can feel a breeze that, graces your face, or the crunch of the leaves underneath your feet, or, the certain smells of like spring or fall, or the sound of a certain bird or a crow or a mourning dove, or like just the little things that our brain normally skips. I mean, think about when you're in a rush to get to work, if you have to walk from your car to the building, most people's brains are like, oh, I don't want to be here. I hate it here. Like, it's so dumb. Like, I'd rather be home, binging TV, being with my kids, having a moment to myself, being at the spa. You know what I'm saying? But we like slow down, romanticize what you're doing already. Anytime that I get outside to walk my dog, like, especially when it's cold. I don't know if you all know this about me. I hate the cold. Okay. It's really hard for me to romanticize my life outside when it's less than like 65 degrees. I'm not happy about it. But something that I've been trying to do whenever I need to walk the dog and it is cold, when it's really cold, I watch the breath. Like, how you can see whenever it's super cold, like your own breath, like I'll see that, and then I'll notice like maybe drops of water that are maybe freezing or that look pretty on some leaves. Like I just slow down to take a deep breath in this walk and just notice the things around me. Notice how the leaves are changing. Notice like what's going on. Notice people's like pretty decorations or like time and attention they've put into their home, or you know what I'm saying? Just little things like that. Other ways that you can romanticize your life could be like decorating your space in ways that feel really precious to you, calming to you, putting on music that changes the energy of your environment. So something I do to romanticize my life, like when I'm working, obviously I really do love my work. I love working with my clients. That's so much fun. And then I do love certain aspects of the back end stuff of my business. I don't love everything. I will just tell you that. I don't love everything. But when I am working on something that maybe has me feeling a little high stress, I'm noticing that I'd rather do other things, I will turn on the TV. I'll go to YouTube and I'll type in jazz cafe or jazz music with like, it's like an AI background of Paris or an AI background of a coffee shop or an AI background of like, it looks like someone's living room with a fireplace running and this beautiful background, like maybe snow is falling or rain is falling or whatever. And I will put that on because it absolutely changes the way that I feel about work. So that might not be possible for everybody if you're going into like a big corporate office, but if you're someone that works from home and you're not going to be too distracted by that, like that is a way I romanticize my life while working. Because I can just glance up in between like writing emails or whatever I'm doing in the back end of my business and just recenter. Like just so grateful to have something as simple as that, to take my mind just very quickly somewhere peaceful and then get back to work. And so if that's like a background for you with simple jazz music, if that's something, another type of music, like just changing the energy, that's what you're wanting to romanticize your life. It could be as simple as dressing yourself in a way that reflects how you want to feel, not just what's easy. So like romanticize putting your clothes on and what you wear, and maybe like accessorizing, bracelets, necklaces, like ways that make you feel really good and slow you down from maybe what's everyday mundane or what you've stopped appreciating. It can also be things like grocery shopping. Like grocery shopping, I know a lot of people don't love it. I might feel differently too whenever I have kids that have to come along, but I'm going to try my best, even when I have kids that I take along, to romanticize grocery shopping. Now, I used to actually, you might know this about me, but if you're new here, I used to practice as a pediatric occupational therapist for birth to age 3. And I actually would, as an OT, go with moms to the grocery store for kids that had like behavioral issues or had been diagnosed with autism and had a hard time with like sights, sounds, all the overstimulation of a grocery. You don't realize how overstimulating public places are until you have a child with that has like neurodivergence going on. And then when you're paying attention to them because you're seeing them react, anyways, it's a whole thing, right? And so literally as an OT, I didn't call it this, but there was this process of trying to romanticize these experiences with moms, because moms would be like so overstimulated and so overwhelmed. And it would really be a practice of like slowing them down, letting them breathe, letting their child have the emotions they're having, regulating their nervous systems and emotions while other people might be staring or judging. And so I think about that all the time when I even go to the grocery store without a bunch of distractions. Like I go slow. I might read the ingredients on the back of my foods. I might appreciate the sights and sounds. Like there's a grocery store that I love. It's kind of like a Whole Foods, but it's Fresh Market. I know some people will have that, some people won't. When I lived in Vegas, it was Sprouts. That's very similar, but here on the East Coast, it's Fresh Market. I love the smells. I love that the workers are like making like food on the spot and things like that. And I don't know, it's just a different kind of environment than your like super, super big corporation grocery stores. And it just feels like this beautiful experience. I don't know how to describe it, but I try to slow myself down in stores like that. Like when I'm in a rush to grab ingredients, I just take a pause to like really take it all in. Even if I am in a rush, just slow down a second, because like just look around you. You know what I'm saying? We get really we're in a space as humans too, because we have like immediate gratification with everything, where it's so easy to get into mundane and stop appreciating the everyday moments of life, truly. Like the things that for, a lot of people they probably take for granted. And I think another thing that really served me in being an occupational therapist is that I worked with people even before kids, right? When I was in school and I had to do like mini internships, they would have us do 6-week internships in every single field. So I did like 6 weeks of internship in a nursing home, 6 weeks of internship in acute care, 6 weeks of internship in pediatrics with children that were blind or visually impaired. I did 6 weeks of a halfway house, right, of men integrating back into the community. I think we did 6 weeks. It might have been 1 or 2, maybe actually for that. But my point is that in OT school, they really exposed us to lots of different people and lots of different environments that occupational therapists could work. And in those experiences, and being an OT for, the years that I was before I went full-time life coaching, I don't know. I think that experience helped me so much, because you realize like that one day you're living a certain way. And if you ever need an occupational therapist, if you ever had one, it's usually because you've experienced some kind of hardship or tragedy. Like you never really want to have an occupational therapist. That's what I would always say to parents. It's like, I love being your OT, but I know you don't want me here, because it means that like we're working on stuff that ideally you wouldn't ever have to work on. Like you wish probably you never had to meet me, but I am happy to be the one serving you. And I think because of the lens of like seeing so many people go through so many hard things, especially when I was working at like hospitals and stuff, it's like I would hear stories every day where they're like, just yesterday I was able to make coffee by myself and now I've had a stroke and I can't even move one whole side of my body. And so I think like the lens of what I experienced working in healthcare helped me and helps me continuously slow down and appreciate how to romanticize my life, because I know like in 1 second you can have something medically or something unexpectedly happen where you're robbed of it, and then you wish that you would have appreciated it when you had it. So just appreciate it now. Like slow down to appreciate it now. Like the fact that you can walk into a grocery store or even do a quick jog into a grocery store is a privilege, truly. Like for the person that can no longer do that. Same thing with eating. Like anytime I get a little like picky even with eating, or like I don't know what I want to eat and everything just starts to feel so complainy or mundane. I remember my patients who literally couldn't eat and had to have G tubes, or the clients where I had to thicken their food because the speech therapist would give reports that they couldn't swallow foods with or liquids without it being thickened. And there were patients where that morning coffee that you're complaining is cold, or that you're having to chug down really quickly because your life is chaotic. There are people sitting in a hospital right now who have a powder going in their coffee to make it the consistency of Jell-O. And I can promise you, as those clients would yell at me for it, that they would really probably love to romanticize their life, getting to enjoy a hot, normal, liquid cup of coffee. That's what I mean. So I think my background as an OT helps me practice this more, but I hope that in listening to this, you really slow down to think about romanticizing your life more, because it's a privilege. It's a privilege you can write. It's a privilege you can wash your own body. It's a privilege that you don't need any assistance or very little assistance with things. Life is chaotic and life is hard, but everything that you're experiencing right now, especially if you're able to do it independently, is truly a privilege. So romanticize the crap out of it. The last things that I'll say about romanticizing your life and different ideas, like slow down, journal how you're feeling. You can romanticize that. Light a candle, get a pen that you like, a certain journal that you like. I know I like certain journals because of the paper and how it feels, and certain pens and how they feel. Light a candle and do it. You can romanticize folding laundry. You can romanticize cooking dinner. Pop open a glass of wine if you want to. Put on some jazz music. My friends and I, when I go to my best friend's house, we romanticize the dinner experience every single time we cook dinner together. We will literally put on some Frank Sinatra and cook together in the kitchen. I do the chopping while she's doing the cooking. And, we might pop open a glass or a bottle of champagne or just something like that, and just talk and laugh and actually appreciate cooking dinner. Because again, that is a privilege that you can even do that. So romanticizing your life is like being present with, it's all your senses. What do you smell? What do you hear? What can you taste? What can you touch? It's treating these everyday routines as something sacred instead of like obligatory, okay? Because it truly is a privilege. And when you do this process, you realize like everything becomes more beautiful because you're deciding that your life matters and is worthy of these beautiful moments. Like you start to take small moments and, make meaning out of them instead of always waiting for a big moment to make meaning out of. I think a lot of times we want big changes. We want big reasons to romanticize our life. Start romanticizing the small moments. Truly. It like helps you slow down and appreciate what's in front of you, and to remember that the process of getting to your self-concept or whatever goals you have is way more important than the milestone, because the process is usually what takes longer, and people want to rush it, and people are going really, really fast, and a lot of people are going nowhere fast. Slow down. Start to feel deeply connected to your own life instead of just rushing. So here's what I want to leave you with. If you can start practicing romanticizing your life, I promise you your life will start to feel richer, even if nothing has changed externally. And because you're romanticizing the little things, when things do change externally, you're going to know how to appreciate them more. Your nervous system will relax and soften. You're going to feel less anxiety and less urgency. You'll actually start treating yourself the way that you maybe treat other people in your life. Usually we treat other people way better than we treat ourselves. So start treating yourself that way. And a kind of natural thing that happens from romanticizing your life is that your standards start to rise naturally instead of forcefully, right? And you see the beauty in way, way more, and it becomes harder to derail you emotionally, because your life, when you're romanticizing it, will feel full from the inside out. And nobody can take that away from you when you know how to do that. So I really hope that this episode helps you understand romanticizing your life. And I hope that sharing my background with you as an OT, especially if you know anybody who, has gone through some really hard things, a car accident, a traumatic brain injury, a stroke, loss of certain movements of their body parts, inability to do things. When you really slow down to appreciate the little things, you have to understand, it is a privilege. It is a privilege even with the challenges we're facing. I don't have a perfect life. there's a lot of things in life that are hard, that are quite frankly whooping my butt at different time periods. That's true for everybody. So slow yourself down and learn how to appreciate those little things, because I guarantee you there's someone, even with whatever chaos you have, busyness you have, things that aren't right or where you want them to be, there's somebody who probably would love to trade places with you for some reason or another, to maybe sleep, like if you're sleeping in your own bed instead of a hospital bed. And I know like this stuff can feel really heavy, but I really want to drive home that you are blessed in many ways, even if life isn't where you want it to be. And you can also choose to romanticize your life as however you're living now, and choose to improve the pieces that you think or want could be even better. And if you want to do that with help, instead of, I saw a post today that said DIYing my healing process. And I was like, not DIY. That means do it yourself, for anybody that's not familiar. And a lot of times it's in reference to like home renovations, DIY, do it yourself. But I was like, oh my gosh, that is hilarious. So if you don't want to DIY your healing experience, your mindset experience, your emotional intelligence experience, just know that you can schedule a consult and we can talk it out and see if walking side by side with you in coaching is the thing for you. And I guarantee you, for most people, it is. It's just going to help you get further faster when you have help, as opposed to DIY, and less frustration. Okay. So anyways, I hope that you enjoyed these 3 episodes. And I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. And don't forget about the Black Friday deals. You have until the end of the night on November 29th to secure the 25% off Miami or the $500 off of one-on-one coaching. And both of those, if you buy them, you can opt into the mini coaching programs at absolutely no cost, whether you need one or both. And it will set you up for the big announcement that's coming on December 16th. So just really quickly, on December 16th, I'll be announcing my newest big advanced program and a bunch of surprises with it. I can't wait. But it's really important that you know that in order to qualify for the advanced room, which will officially start in March of next year, late March, you will have to have had both mini programs taken to be able to start in that program. So make sure that you have gotten into the mini programs. And the last time that I'm going to run it, or run both, is January, February. And the deadline to sign up for that January and February cohort is December 12th. So you basically need to have enrolled in one or both of the mini programs that you need by December 12th. Okay, you can do that on MacyRenee.com. And if you have any questions, just email me at coaching@MacyRenee.com. I will put that in the show notes so that I can clarify or give you coupon codes for anything you need this week. You just have to reach out to me, okay? Don't miss it. I've got big things coming. I'll see you soon. Hey there. Thank you so much for joining me on today's episode of This Is Not Your Practice Life podcast. If you'd like to connect on social media, you can find me on both Instagram and Facebook at Macy Renee Coaching. And if you want to stay up to date on all of my offers, announcements, and inspirational emails, you can join my email list at macyrenee.com. In addition, if there's a way that I can further support you in your coaching journey, you can schedule a free 60-minute consult at macyrenee.com anytime you want, so we can discuss the best options for you. I look forward to seeing you next week, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye.